Hi, today I'm going to be doing an interview with Norma Hegedus, and Norma is an emotional energy coach. And for those of you who don't know what an emotional energy coach is, I'm going to let Norma explain that. But before I do, I just want to let you know how I first became involved with an emotional energy coach. I've known Norma for quite a number of years now. And when I first met Norma, she told me that she was an EFT practitioner. And I had no idea what EFT was way back then, because I'm going back over 10 years ago, I'm sure. And I was a law of attraction coach. So she told me about EFT. And for those of you that don't know what EFT is, it's about tapping. You may have heard people talk about tapping. It's when they do this sort of thing. I'm not explaining it to you. Norma's the expert here. But so that was how I first met Norma. And at that time, I had a lot of issue. I'd had a lot of abdominal surgery over the years, and I had a lot of issue with adhesions and ongoing severe pain, episodes of severe pain. I was on quite large amounts of painkillers at the time for the pain, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. When I met Norma and she talked to me about emotional energy coaching, I started to do some of the coaching with her. And I have to say, I'm probably one of the most sceptical people she ever had as a
at the time.
The end result of it was, voila, I was able to cut out all my pain relief and start and use her emotional energy work to totally control my pain. And I have used that instead of pain relief for the last 10 plus years. So I became converted the first time I ever used it for my pain relief. And when I realised I could go for my pain relief, that was just amazing. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to my Norma, a very dear friend of mine now, and also an emotional energy coach. So Norma, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your story?
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. I got into personal development adventure 36 years ago. And little by little, I learnt different things. I did lifeline telephone counselling. I discovered NLP and hypnosis, and from that discovered EFT, and from that I discovered emotion code. So when I started working with people, I would use whichever modality seemed to fit the moment. So that's why I call myself an emotional energy coach, because I might use NLP along with EFT, or emotion code along with EFT or NLP, whatever. So it's almost like I've got a doctor's bag full of various instruments, and I pull out the modality that is going to be useful in the situation. So and I guess I came to it because when I started either chatting with people and getting results, or working with people and getting results, I just get such a high when I see people having breakthroughs, like no longer needing pain management, or letting go of a phobia that had been controlling them for 20 or 40 years. So that's how I came to doing this. I just love working with people and watching them blossom. It's magic.
Thanks for that. And so now I'm just going to ask a few more questions. The next one, Norma, is what's one thing that you wish you'd known before you began your career as an emotional energy coach?
That I could do it.
I love that.
oh, but you know, and I might, and but what if, and I haven't really, and it's like, psst, clear the screen. You can do it, sweetheart. That's what I would have liked to have known a long time ago and believed it.
I love it. And this one might give you pose you a bit of a dilemma. What has been your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
I don't know that I can list a biggest failure. I think that there's been numerous times when I could have and shied away from the opportunity. You know, whether it's been on a little thing or I've had a major opportunity and just shrunk back from it because of lack of confidence, which has been so stupid. So, you know, that it's like a whopping, my biggest failure is having a whopping great big bag of missed opportunities.
Okay. And can I just share something with people? And I hope you're okay with me sharing this, Norma. But Norma, it's about her fears, and a lot of her failures have been caused through her fears and her own lack of self-belief. And I'm aware that I have been wanting to do this interview with Norma for quite a long while, and it has got in her way, and I don't think she'll mind me sharing. This is actually the first time she has allowed herself to be interviewed. She's an amazing coach and she gets fantastic results with her clients, and yet she did not want to share that like in a forum like this. So thank you for overcoming that fear and allowing.
Yeah, this is a bit of the dripping tap will wear away stone eventually.
Beautiful. So what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career in emotional energy?
I think just keep your eyes open for every opportunity for learning, and learn how to do EFT tapping and keep tapping on, I can do this, I am enough, I have all it takes to succeed at what I want to do. That's the advice I would give. It's like, take my advice. How many fingers am I pointing at you? Oh, look, 3 pointing back at me. Take this advice. Push every door and just persist and persist.
I love that. Thank you. And I love this finger pointing at you and 3 pointing back at me, because that's something that we all do so often. We point the finger, but we forget that it's usually a reflection of something within ourselves.
It's like, take my advice, I'm not using it.
I love that. So, are there any particular resources that have helped you along the way that you'd like to mention?
I have done so much in the realms of personal development, learning lifeline telephone counselling. You know, I draw on that all the time, and then I come across this, and then I come across that. I've done week-long trainings that have been super powerful. One of the things that shifted me more than probably the thing that shifted me the most of all was reading a book. I should have remembered the name of it. The Dance of Anger by Harriet Lerner. And I got, I think, about a third of the way through, and I found I was behaving differently. It wasn't that I learned a new modality. I learned oh, that's a good idea, I will do that. I was reading the book and I just found that I was behaving differently. And I went from being a person that liked to be rescued. I had friends around me who loved to rescue me. And those friendships just fizzled because all of a sudden I was just getting up and doing. So that's been my most valuable resource.
Thank you for that. And who are the 3 people who've been most influential to you in your life?
Okay. The lady I first started doing personal development with 35 years ago, Karim, her name was, or is, just definitely created a whole new world opened up for me. And then, of course, I met a very dear friend, Tony, who was a professional hypnotherapist. And he introduced me to NLP, which then went on to EFT. He found it round about that time and introduced me to it. And I've known him for, probably 18, 20 years, probably 20 years. And he's just been a wonderful, wonderful support and mentor to me all this time. And then, of course, there was the dear Lynn that I met. And I think we worked that out the other day. I think that was about 13 years or so ago.
About that, yes, yeah.
You know, we're both on a similar path, you know, different vehicles, but similar path. And sometimes you mentor me and sometimes I, hang on, Lynn, what about? You know, so we mentor each other and we, you know, I mean, one of the things that I've loved so much about, you know, being your friend has been how you challenge me sometimes. Sometimes it's like, oh, she's challenging me, pay attention. And other times it's like, oh, God, get off my case, Lynn. Oh, listen to this because it's going to be important. So, you know, that's been absolutely invaluable. And can I just throw in a fourth? Recently, a friend of mine who university trained, ticks the box, does everything meticulously, finally learnt the exciting world of personal development, and she's taken to it like a duck to water, but she's brought her meticulousness along with it, and little by little she's letting down the level of meticulousness and allowing the intuition to form a very nice balance. And now we've got a relationship a bit like you and I have, where sometimes I'm mentoring her and sometimes she's mentoring me. So that's been awesome. So
fantastic. Fantastic. So coming to the end of my questions for you, Norma, but if you could step into my shoes, is there a question that you would have liked me to ask that I didn't?
Yeah, can you list a couple of occasions where you've just simply had a wonderful result with people? So I'll answer that now. The 19-year-old lad, full of anger, who came into the Department of Housing, and he was furious and he was demanding this, that and the other. And he came in at 8 minutes before closing time. He demanded to see a supervisor. Sorry, son, supervisors are gone. And then I put my NLP, didn't use EFT, but I certainly used NLP, put my NLP hat on and I started talking to him. And everybody had done the dirty on him. And he walked out at 2 minutes past closing time. So it took me exactly 10 minutes to take him from ropeable and everybody's doing it to me. And he walked out saying, oh, bless you, Norma, thank you so much. And all I did was ask him a few questions like, you know, you want to wait for everybody to do it for you, or do you want to walk out the door and, you know, make things happen for yourself? And then I gave him some lists of job temp agencies, and he just went out like, oh my God, a whole new world has just opened up to me. And that took me exactly 10 minutes. I was chuffed at that. And then there was another occasion when I was working as a temp, as a receptionist, and this lady came in, and she always came to the reception desk and had a little look at the newspaper for a couple of minutes and went in. And I could tell she was upset. She'd been working there for 12 years. A very significant person in her life had just died, and she wasn't going to ask for time off to go to the funeral. And she left the reception desk about 2.5 minutes later, sent me an email and said, "Thank you so much, Norma. I've requested the full day off." And she went to the funeral and had a whole day off. And she'd been working there for 12 years and didn't feel she had the right to ask for time off to go to a very important funeral. And it was like, that was awesome. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those experiences with us.
I'm going goosey thinking about those. I love them.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing them. And so now, Norma, as you're aware, I work predominantly with working mums, and I've been a working mum all my life, which is why I love working with working mums. So a lot of times working mums say they've just, lost control of their lives. They don't feel, not lost control, but they don't feel in control of their lives anymore. There's just too much going on, not enough time, not enough energy. So just a quick question to you. What does being in control of your life mean to you?
Good question. In the areas where I feel like I am in control, it's awesome because you can just decide what to do. And what's been my mantra recently is being efficiently productive. And on the days where I feel like I'm achieving that, it's exciting. It's beautiful. That's a room in my household, room for improvements, biggest room in the house. So still, working on myself tirelessly, pushing every door, learning everything I possibly can to gain more control. But the areas where I am in control, I love it. Have a ball.
Beautiful. And how can emotional energy work help my working mums take back control of their lives?
Because with emotional energy work, I should have thought of this a little bit more clearly. With emotional energy work, it's almost like if you've got an issue like a phobia or a anxiety issue, something like that, and you go to a psychiatrist, psychiatrists, they'll work with you for months, years to help you manage that problem, which is almost a physical entity. But with emotional energy work, it's almost like that monumental problem, like I can't stop chewing my fingernails, or I'm absolutely petrified of going into lifts, somewhere in between. It's almost like that problem becomes a balloon or a bubble, and you walk up and you go, pop. And it's like, problem? What problem? One of the biggest problems with EFT, they say, is that so many people sort these issues out, and then a few months later, it's almost like it popped like a bubble. And then when they think back on it, it's almost hard for them to believe that they actually had a problem, and that something as simple as EFT could have solved it. What problem? I didn't have a problem. I haven't got a problem. I don't remember a problem. So that's how emotional energy work can help things like that, and it's... I'd much rather pop a bubble than spend years and thousands of dollars seeking psychiatric help.
And look,
I don't want to offend anybody, but that's where I'm at.
And once again, I'm just going to throw my own experience in here. I can really identify with that popping a bubble, because I'd had, when I met you and I first started using emotional energy to help me overcome my chronic pain that I had. I'd had that pain that had been ongoing since I had my last daughter, and she's 40, and I met you about 13 years ago. So we're looking at about, 30, about 27 years I'd had that pain. For 27 years it was controlled by medication and occasionally alcohol.
And sometimes not controlled.
Alcohol. And to a point now, 13 years later, where if it does happen, I can get rid of it within 5 minutes at the max. No help from any medications, alcohol or anything like that. So it really was, and I have to really think about what it was like for those 7 years, because it is so easy to manage now. So I thank you for that. And I just wanted to share that experience of the bubble popping. So Norma, look, it's been really great having you on here, and I do thank you for your time, and thank you for getting over your fear and allowing yourself to be interviewed. Just where can my mums get in touch with you online if they want to go online to find you? How do they do that?
Will they be able to get my name? Will they be able to get my name off your?
Yeah, and so if I work out a way, I can possibly put it. I can certainly put it in a link.
So, I mean, they can contact me
through. Put it in the link below this interview, and
we'll put in a link for New Life Pathways, and they can contact me through that Facebook page or private message me, and we can go from there.
Lovely.